Hey guys, Stephanie with AmericanMuscle.com here with the RTR Tactical Performance Panhard Bar Support Brace for all 2005 to 2014 Mustangs. A lot of times Panhard bars are one of the first places that people go to in order to tighten up the rear end of the 05 to 14 S197s, and rightfully so. But at the same time, an aftermarket Panhard bar can only do so much by itself. This Panhard bar support brace from RTR gives structural support and adds rigidity to the foundation of the Panhard bar in order to make it more effective. This makes a perfect option for those guys out there that are looking to improve handling. So the purpose of a Panhard bar is to keep the rear axle from moving side to side. The side-to-side movement in the rear axle is created by chassis flex and twist, and it will have an impact on the consistency of the handling. If the rear axle is allowed to move this way, you'll experience rear steer and your ability to corner will be greatly reduced, hence the need for a Panhard bar, not to mention a centered rear. But like I said before, a Panhard bar can only have so much improvement if you support it with only the factory parts. The RTR Panhard bar support brace will stiffen the Panhard bar mounting bracket for less deflection. This is important for the functioning of the Panhard bar because the mounting bracket is a weak and vulnerable point of the Panhard bar assembly when it's under load during cornering. This support brace will give some extra chassis rigidity as well. The first thing that I noticed about this brace was how beefy it is. All of RTR's tactical line is really beefy stuff, and this brace is right aligned with that. This makes for a definite upgrade over the factory brace. And the factory brace can actually be flexed by hand, and that's just not happening with this RTR brace. This brace is made from a heavy-duty boxed steel tubing, which is where it gets its strength from. It's also powder-coated this nice gray, and while you won't necessarily see the color of the brace, the powder will give it some corrosion resistance, and that's only going to benefit an undercar suspension component. As far as price, a Panhard bar support brace isn't necessarily expensive. This brace costs under $100 and it pairs perfectly with RTR's Panhard bar, although you don't necessarily need to have an RTR specific Panhard bar. There are some other options on the site as far as braces and Panhard bars go, but the RTR support brace is coming in the middle of the pack as far as price. The install for this Panhard bar support brace is luckily not difficult. It is a direct bolt-on replacement, which means that it will just take the place of the factory brace without requiring any modification. You won't need any special tools to complete the install, just a few sockets and an extension or two, and a way to get the car up in the air high enough to work under it for about an hour or so. I'm going to call this a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. The driver's side of the brace requires you to back out 2 bolts, and there's 1 bolt on the passenger side. You won't need to drop anything to get these bolts out, and once the bolts are removed, the brace just drops out. It can be easier to drop the passenger side of the brace first, and it might make it easier to loosen the 18mm bolt on the Panhard bar itself, because that just helps sometimes. Just like the same way the factory brace came out, it might be easier to install the passenger side bolt of the new brace first, but don't tighten it down all the way. Then it's just the 2 bolts on the driver's side, and those can be made tight. The passenger side then just needs to be tightened down, and this means both the brace and if you loosen the bolt in the Panhard bar itself. Wrapping things up here, the RTR Tactical Performance Panhard Bar Support Brace offers support to the Panhard bar where the factory components are normally very weak. This support will reduce deflection and flex, and therefore tighten up the rear end, allowing the Panhard bar to function at a top level. It's made from a heavy-duty box steel design, and it's very easy to install. You can check it out more online, along with all of the other RTR Tactical Performance options right here at AmericanMuscle.com.